10 September 2023. Good morning to you all and warm welcome, goeiemôre aan julle almal en baie welkom. As always, please remember to press that like button, share and subscribe. And obviously in closing, what's the way forward and decision time. So let's look at the aim. What's the aim of our streams and our briefs that we make on YouTube? It's to make you think, get you to think. And make decisions what's best for you and your family. Now, I've only got 15-20 minutes, so I'm trying to cover as much as I can. So I'm going to touch on lots of issues that is in the news. You can just Google it, and it will help you then with your thinking process. First thing I'll talk about is music. Music is very powerful, and there's a very fantastic song that went out about a month ago by an American Western singer. His name is Jason Aldean. And the name of the song is Try That in a Small Town. I would like you to go and Google it or have a look at it on YouTube. And it's very applicable to what's going on in South Africa. And it's, if you ask me, it goes about the Black Lives Movement that's taking place globally and also, well, specifically in this case, in America, and the civil unrest that took place there a while back. There's a strong message that you get in that song, and you'll notice it's been played over and over. I think it's got about 34 plus million views, and I recommend you have a look at that video. And you can see that the underlying message in that video is, I recommend you don't, and not to cross that line. Now, the aim of my stream is I recommend you do join us. So that's where I'm going with this video on this brief today. Right, from the music, I'm going to quickly talk about the Middle East to get you thinking there and to make your deductions. We know what happened in the Middle East over the past years, specifically in Syria, where we have the West and the East fighting over minerals there. And what was the end result for Syria? Total devastation, graveyard. So we have the West involved in the Middle East for oil, and with the East involved Russia for gas. So there we have greed, we have people displaced, millions of people displaced, now in Europe looking for social support, and their lives are ruined. Now that's the Middle East. We go to Ukraine and to Europe. We see the same there. Ukraine today is a cemetery, as we have heard from that Colonel McGregor that gives regular updates on YouTube. You can check on there for yourselves. There again in Ukraine we have people displaced, and what's your deductions there? One would never think that would happen to a first world society, but it did. There's nothing left there, and that's a future war zone. Right, we come to Africa. We have military coups. There's been 108 military coups over the past decade or two. Of late, we have seen in Niger what happened there. I think the last month, there's been a military coup there, and of course Gabon last week, and we had Chad in 2021. So coups in Africa are, and let's not mention what happened with Zimbabwe, where we had Mnangagwa take over from Robert Mugabe. So coups are very relevant in Africa when there is social unrest, instability, low economy, bad economy, and basically racial differences. Coming to South Africa, we have, as we well know, the BRICS issue. There's pressure on South Africa from the BRICS side. There's pressure from the West and NATO on South Africa regarding that side. So again, we are in the middle, just as we found ourselves, or the others have found themselves in Syria and in the Ukraine. So if I see this thing rolling out, there's different areas that the people are looking for to exercise their authority, gain more wealth. And I see that South Africa is next on the chart, where BRICS wants South Africa, and the West, or the East and the West want South Africa. Now, why will they pick on South Africa? Well, our political leadership is weak. Our political leadership is unstable. There's racial division. Black politicians and the ANC ruling party are clueless. They're not reliable. We've seen this now for the past 27 plus years, where we've gone with this so-called democracy. We have the youth in South Africa that are lazy. They all want social support. They also want everything for free, education, health for free. And they have that revolutionary mindset, which is fitting today, for example, as you've picked up in universities, and also what you've picked up there at the FNB Stadium with Malema with the 10th anniversary celebration. Further, with state-owned enterprises, we've seen of late in the news how the SANDF department acted against a SAPS department, or the Hawks department, where there was a lieutenant colonel taken out and killed. So we have state-owned enterprises within state-owned enterprises fighting with one another and taking out one another. So there's a typical mafia gang scenario that we have in South Africa. Ongoing farm murders, we know what's been happening of late. We also know that the DA wrote a letter to President Ramaphosa asking him to act and to commission an inquiry into this, which hasn't been done. That was 68 days back, plus another 21 days, according to an article on the 15th of August of this year. I just want to read here, it said here, President Ramaphosa ignores the DA's formal request to establish a commission of inquiry into farm attacks and murders. All right, then, what is your deduction from that? So get your thinking caps on. What's your deduction from that? Since the submission of the request, 16 farm murders have been registered between May and July of 2023, representing a 56% increase. Excuse me. So if you want to, I'm hammering on this point because it's very sensitive to us all, because this is our food basket. With the FNB Stadium celebrations a month back, we see nothing has happened to Julius Malema, and we see state-owned or state organizations haven't acted against Malema, bar AfriForum, which I'll come to now, talk about their court case. But if just 1% of the people at that FNB Stadium act on what Julius Malema and the executives had sung, then we're sitting with 1,000 farm murders before the elections in May of 2024. Right, so let's go to the judiciaries. The Supreme Court, we see of late in Bloemfontein, of all places, they're questioning AfriForum on why it should be entertained, or why should the legal process entertain kill the boer, kill the farmer. Can you believe it? Of all places in Bloemfontein. So it actually shows you how underdeveloped our judicial system is. I've mentioned this before in many videos. The judicial system is underdeveloped. The judges are also underdeveloped, clueless. As you can see clearly here, our law doesn't work, and of course the Constitution is also by design at fault. Then I want to talk about rich people and wealthy people and giving. You know, I engage myself with lots of people to give some form of sponsor or donation towards SBB, and they don't give. They don't give at all. They don't see the necessity to give. But then if I read here in the latest news, there's billionaires funding political parties, amounting to 58 million, according to the Business Tech dated the 1st of September 2023. We see here Patrice Motsepe donates, or to the ANC, he donates 2/3 of their fees, of their monies. 15 million I see here, and from Chancellor House another 5 million. So there's 20 million that goes to the ANC, but it looks very clear here that Patrice Motsepe is the major donor for funds to ANC. Why is this the case? We see Michel Leroux, he's the other big donor that's given money to the multi-party charter, the Moonshot Pact. But there you have very prominent people that gives money to political parties, but the wealthy are not giving money to safety. to other organizations when there's a state of anarchy in place, like groups like the SBB. Very quickly, I want to slot this in here about the wealthy and the giving and what the word says. In Mark 10, verse 25. Now, I have to bring in a word here because this is what it's all about. It's a spiritual attack against us here in South Africa, well, worldwide, but in South Africa specifically. And I just want to read there, Mark 10, verse 25. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven, or kingdom of God. Why is it like that? Let me hear in your comments below. Please, I like your comments. I respond to all of them, whether it's a thumbs up or thank you. I like to gauge our discussions. And for those clever people out there that think there's a solution or know of a solution in South Africa, please let me hear it in your comments. Then in 1 Timothy 6, verse 17, it says, command those who are rich in this present world, and that's you, the rich people that are listening to me this morning, not to be arrogant. So the word is saying to you rich and wealthy people out there, not to be arrogant, nor put their hope in wealth. Now, all of you think that your wealth and your high walls and your security estate is going to keep you safe. No, it's not. The word clearly says that don't think you're safe behind your high walls, which is so uncertain, but to put the hope in God, who richly provides with everything for our enjoyment, which is everything, A to Z, including your wealth. Now, this is the important one. 1 Timothy 6, verse 18. Command them to do good. So the wealthy people that have influence in this country, you've been commanded, spiritually commanded to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. Now, there's a big contradiction, all you wealthy people listening to me today. You've been commanded, the breath you have and the water you drink is given from your Creator. But you are arrogant in your wealth and you're arrogant in your giving. Now 6 verse 18 says that you've been commanded to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share to those that don't have, the people in this country that have nothing, that need your support for the anarchy at the present moment. We have a failed state. Everybody's talking about it. Don't be ignorant. Start helping your people for the time that's lying ahead. All right, then of course in closure and in summary, I want to just discuss a few things also in that, just with your thinking caps on so that you can make the right deductions and obviously leading you to the right decision, is the youth today. I spoke to a gentleman in Potchefstroom, let's give him a name, let's say it's Dominic, and I asked him, Dominic, what's wrong with the youth today? Why are they not involved? So he said, no, hulle wil net drink and kuier. He said they just want to drink and social. Now, they're not interested in the politics in South Africa. They just want to get their education, qualification, leave the country. That's not the answer. That's not the answer to leave. You have to stay and fix the situation. South Africa is your bread basket. It's not going to help you to drink and berei and social and not be involved in politics and sort things out at grassroots levels. South Africa has a future, and you need to make sure you're part of that design. Then, of course, the next thing I want to slot in here is that it's all rugby time. It's very interesting how people are more focused on rugby and watching people chase a ball through the field. But you're not interested in your family's safety. You're not interested in your children's future. But you'd rather spend hundreds of rands on a rugby ticket or spend hundreds of rands on a gathering over a beer and a braai and drink until the early hours of the morning. And if you put that all into monetary value, it's a couple of $100 that you're spending. But you're not prepared to support organizations that want to keep you safe in times of anarchy. The reality is there's anarchy in this country. The reality is the government doesn't care about you. So I want you to put that into thinking caps. Then, as you always know, I talk about pastors and shepherds because they are the shepherds of their people. They should be doing more acting against the government. Now, I've mentioned before Angus Buckham. I'm going to mention him again. Some of you think he belongs to the Freemasons. He doesn't. Now, when Angus speaks, I know that man. I've never met him, but I know him. There's other pastors. Ad Boshoff, I want to mention him. I've never met him, but when he talks, I know the man. Derek Prince, he's an European preacher. When he talks, I know the man. So if I'm talking and streaming and you understand what I'm saying and you know me without meeting with me, then you know we're in sync and you're on the right track. And on that, I'm expecting that you get involved with the safety of your fellow citizens and also for the future of your children. Looking at Angus again, I remember in April of 2017, there was 1 million people at his gathering. Now, if 1 million believing people can get together, and if you look at the FF with their 100,000 handful at the FNB Stadium, you can't compare. So let your spirit talk. Do this for your children. It's for your children's future. And remember, there's no such thing as retirement. I always say if you walk slow, and I'm not talking about it medically, then your outputs are slow. Start walking fast, start switching on, and start getting involved with politics and the news, and start building a future for your children, because South Africa is the breadbasket for their future. Do that at least when it comes to the decision time. All right, decision time. What's your action plan? Wat's 'n plan gaan jy nou maak? Right, for a start, join us. We are a big grouping. We've got lots of people joining in the last period, and I'm asking you to take a serious course of direction and join the likes of SBB. And our website below, all our information below our videos, please follow those links. Just do it. Yes, join us. We have that national emergency plan that kicks in when all else fails. And we're there already. You all know it. It's nothing new. And of course, remember that 10-10 principle of mine. Share our videos and talk about these videos that myself and General Du Toit send out regularly amongst your friends, and get things moving now. There's not much time left. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. Stay well, keep safe, and keep sharp. Tot ziens en groete.